Back at it again. Haiti Biz News Show, Monday to Friday. Bringing you news that's going to keep you informed, engaged, and reacting in the most optimal way for your business, investment, and entrepreneurial activity. Today is the 12th of April. Let's talk about it. We have a real interesting news story from Le Nouveliste, but posted in English on HaitiBizNews.com, HaitiBizNews.com, talking about what we already know, which is Haitians sent a lot of money back home to the tune of $2.98 billion last year, up from around 2.75 to 2.7 billion from the year before. And there is no delay, and there's no going back from that trend. Worldwide, we've seen 9% worldwide, with India having $79 billion worth of remittances, followed very closely by China at $65 billion. More locally, we had Mexico sitting strongly at about $36 billion sent. Right around the corner, we had DR looking solid at $6.7 billion of remittances sent to it, and of course, in Haiti with $2.98 billion. The differences, of course, in many of these countries is not necessarily the nominal raw amount of dollars sent, but really the percentage of their GDP that is a component of that remittance sent. And for Haiti, we're looking at 3.5%. Compare that to the DR, where remittances are only 0.8%, right? So in other words, we are exponentially, multiplicatively more dependent on remittances than the other way around, right? We've seen the cost of remittances be still very high, right? With sustainable development measures, goals being about wanting to be around 3%, but instead we're seeing about closer to 7% cost to send about $200, right? And of course, in Haiti, it's probably a little more because, as you know, we have that 1.5% tax sent to any attached by the Haitian government for any remittance sent, right? So those are the figures, right? And it's good to have an understanding what the numbers are, right? But the real question, the real analysis is, how do we go ahead and make these remittances into a legitimate tool to drive growth and to drive development, right? That's really what we have to think about. Now, I recall Johnson Napoleon posting a video and talking about potentially what he's done, when sending remittances. Instead of just sending it for a particular crisis or issue, he said, he contacted the folks who was sending the money to, and he said, listen, I need to know what you want to do. Like, what is it that you're trying to do to support yourself, right? And I want to help you with that. I need you to give me a dollar amount, a dollar amount that's going to be the very last remittance I send to you. But there is no limit, right? I need to know exactly how much you need, right, to start a venture that's going to allow you to be sustainable and grow start a business and keep that business sustainable to allow you yourself to be independent of the need of a remittance, right? And the conversation was some back and forth, but ultimately the money was sent, and they were able to start a little boutique, little store, a little storehouse, I guess you can call it, where, and since then, they've been able to not only grow and sustain themselves without the need of remittances, but also employ family members, provide schooling for their kids and for the younger members of the family, and are now on a path of sustainability, growth, and ultimately wealth, right? So the question we have to ask ourselves many times is just, all right, we're sending remittances is one thing, but what can we do, right, to actually fundamentally help the folks we're trying to send to? Now, I know it's difficult because a lot of folks who are sending remittances, they're sending them to their wives, sending them to their kids who may be over there, who may be still in the country while they're over there. They're sending them to their parents. Obviously, not everyone is going to fill that bill in terms of, oh, well, mom, listen, you're 80 years old, but you got to get in that entrepreneurial spirit and start doing a do. Obviously, we're not saying that. But for those who might be in a position where they have family members that could potentially instead shift to something that might be more self-sustaining, we need to engage it in that manner, right? There's still a lot of folks who like to talk about other things, right? And those things are worth talking about in terms of what potentially folks could do with the remittances they're receiving, but certainly, on the micro level of how we're sending it and how we're structuring those remittances to the people who receive it. I think that's a good place to start. And then once we start there, then we're going to have some of those higher level discussions about perhaps pooling money together, pulling remittances together to do more specific projects outside of just subsistence, right? So those were the numbers, right? I don't think we've talked about remittances directly on air, right? But I did want to use this opportunity to just bring some numbers in, provide a little perspective of how we can potentially do remittances from someone who has structured it in a way that has worked, right? And I'd love to hear your perspective. What's your thoughts? How could we structure remittances in a way that could indeed focus development in the countries that's being received, especially a country like Haiti that is so desperately in need of actual investment, actual development, right? If you like what we're doing here, give us a like, right? Know somebody who would love to hear real impactful news related to investment and business and macroeconomic conditions. Throw them a share. Come on, do them a favor. Throw them a share. And until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again.